Right, 2 February 2022, and today I've got another interesting topic, and this is to do with the recalled former MDC-T Vice President Thokozani Khupe, or Dr. Thokozani Khupe. As I said, what is happening with Dr. Thokozani Khupe is very sad to watch, and she continues on a path that has got no return, a path that whose end is not clear. And as I said, Dr. Thokozani Khupe is a former vice president of Zimbabwe. She is someone who deserves respect, but she risks damaging her image. She risks damaging her legacy in Zimbabwe because of the actions that she's taking over the past few months. So since December, since she lost the election at the Congress of the MDC-T, Dr. Thokozani Khupe has continuously taken the wrong moves. And what she did today was even worse. So let me play for you a short clip of what Dr. Thokozani Khupe has done. And then we'll go into why this is a serious and fatal mistake to a career.
I am being suffocated and I can't breathe. At the same time, I've written to the United Nations Secretary General.
Okay, I think, I don't know if you are hearing this video on your side, but we'll retry again. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to interpret what she's saying.
I am being suffocated and I can't breathe. At the same time, I've written to the United Nations Secretary General, H.E. Antonio Guterres, the United Nations Executive Director, Dr. Sima Sami Barros, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, H.E. Michelle Bachelet, the Interparliamentary Union President, Honorable Duarte Pacheco, the Pan-African Parliament, and Madam Bineta Diop, the Special Envoy of the Chairperson of the African Union Commission on Women, Peace and Security, so that they see the amount of victimization and discrimination against women by the executive and by the legislature. I am therefore calling upon the executive to stop discrimination against women. And in the same token, I am calling upon the legislature to stop discrimination against women. I am saying this with a heart which is bleeding, because I am a victim of discrimination by these pillars of the state.
Okay, so I think this is very, very clear. Dr. Thokozani Khupe has moved from blaming Douglas Monzora for her problems. She's now blaming the executive. So let me explain to you what she means. So the Zimbabwe government is made up of 3 pillars, which is the executive, where the president sits, and the legislature or parliament, where Mudenda sits, and then the judiciary, where Malaba sits. So what she's doing is she's blaming the president and whoever else is in that office in terms of ministers and so forth. And then she's blaming Mudenda for accepting to get a recall. And I think I want to go back to the technicalities. Dr. Thokozani Khupe does not seem to understand that she is not in a split because she's the only one there. And I think there's another lady called Mguni. So there are 2 people who are in this press conference. And if you watch Dr. Thokozani Khupe, there is Mashumba at the back. And I explained to you that all the stunts that Mashumba was doing when he was disrupting there by the Harvest House press conference, they were basically working with the CCC guys, who is Nelson Chambisa's party. And Dr. Thokozani Khupe, if you listen to her language, she has changed. She has become more vocal than the people in CCC in her criticism against the Zimbabwe government. She has also gone to the extent of writing to the United Nations, to the AU, to the African Parliament on an issue that is legal in Zimbabwe. So what she's basically doing is she's now calling for sanctions. Basically, that's what she's doing. Because what can these bodies do? And why does she think that her recall is of international significance? So this is a very, very strange approach that Dr. Thokozani Khupe has taken, but it's got serious implications for her politically. I do not think she has calculated properly before she made this move. If you want to understand what is happening, she currently has 2 court cases which are before the court. So this afternoon, she has an interdict court case which was being heard in Bulawayo, and she was trying to interdict Douglas Munzora from recalling her. Obviously, that court case has been overtaken by events. She has already been recalled, and she cannot go back to Parliament. And I don't think Parliament can reverse for the reasons that she's giving. Then on Thursday, which is tomorrow, she's got another court case interdicting the Minister of Finance and I think the Minister of Parliament, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs and Mudenda from disbursing funds to Douglas Munzora. So these 2 court cases are still ongoing, but she's already proceeded to go to outside bodies, which are outside the country. And in this particular case, she's now blaming the president of Zimbabwe for working with Douglas Munzora, an argument that has been made by the CCC guys who say that Munzora is working with Mnangagwa to frustrate the opposition. So basically what she's done, she has jumped onto the bandwagon of CCC. And you remember in December, I mentioned that one of the reasons why she was being recalled is that she was having secret meetings with Chamisa. So Khupe, Chamisa, and people like Mashumba, they were having private meetings with Chamisa. I don't know for what purpose. And this is the reason why they were being recalled, and the reason why they are being recalled now. Because she stopped attending all meetings of the MDC-T. She started boycotting. You remember that meeting, the strategy session, which was held at the same hotel where she was staying. She boycotted that meeting. And she was basically becoming disruptive. There's video that we showed where she was trying to disrupt the Congress preparations of the MDC-T. So Dr. Khupe, she had this coming. It was coming all the way since December. It was clear that she was going to be recalled. In fact, on 16 December, it became clear that she was going to be recalled because of the disruption that she made. And then to make matters worse, she declared a split. And when she declared a split, she wants Parliament to recognize her with her 1 MP as faction. And I think this is totally out of the ordinary. And unfortunately, as I said, this is going to damage her reputation. I want to conclude by saying, I think Dr. Khupe is crying out for help. And if I was someone in government, what I would do is I would assist her. I would find a way of saving her dignity. Because the way things are going, she's going to end up with no particular position in politics. And I see that it's very difficult for her not to be in politics. Maybe someone should appoint her into an ambassadorial position or into such a position that she has got something to do, which is not party politics. Because I see this is where the problem is. The amount of attention that she's seeking now is because she's got no other option. I think she's finding it very difficult to say, what does she do now that she's no longer in MDC-T, now that she's no longer in Parliament, now that she cannot spend all her time at the hotel, what is she going to be doing? Because basically, the guys in Parliament now, most of them are there because of these perks of being parliamentarians. There's nothing that they've contributed. Let's look at the time that Dr. Khupe has been an MP. Since she got in by a recall, someone was recalled for her to jump in. What has she achieved? Has she even said anything in Parliament? What is her constituency? You see, I think most people in Zimbabwe, they don't get this fact. An MP is a very important position. What are these MPs that are clamoring to stay MPs, doing for the people. And in the case of Dr. Thokozani Khupe, she's been in these positions for a very, very long time. And I think we need to, someone with the power needs to address this. They need to rescue her from this particular predicament. And it's not healthy for her to be in party politics. She's very, very disruptive, as you can see. And now she's gone to the point of blaming people in government for the problems that she's facing, which she caused by herself. I do not blame anyone. I do blame her for all the problems that she has caused herself. You can see that smart people in a political party, they have refused to follow her. If you look at guys like Kalipani Pogen, they've totally refused to buy this story that she's selling. And I also mentioned on my last talk, a guy like Chief Njovu. Chief is a very, very smart guy. You all know the role that Chief played when Tsvangirai was sick, and the assistance that he has given to the MDC Alliance and the MDC-T, funding them here in South Africa when they were, at the time when the MDC was at its weakest. Chief Njovu was one of the people that helped the party and Tsvangirai a lot. But these guys have refused to follow Dr. Thokozani Khupe. At the moment as we speak, there is no one who has followed Dr. Thokozani Khupe on her expedition where she thinks that she has had a split and where she thinks she deserves some money from government for being in a split. At what percentage? For how many MPs? So let's say we've got 100 MPs on Monzora's side and 1 or 2 MPs on Dr. Khupe's side. Is that a split? And that's so, it just shows how difficult it is, the untenable position that she is in. Also, in these by-elections, these upcoming by-elections, has she fielded candidates to show that she's a serious party? Has she fielded party from her split, candidates from her split, or the part of her split? So these are simple questions, but I think the path that she has taken to go to the AU, to go to the UN, that is totally the wrong path. And she is now on a collision course with some very, very important people, people that she cannot win against, because now she's blaming this whole thing on the president, the executive. She's blaming this whole thing on parliament. And she is now basically taking an activist tone. She's now worse than Chamisa in terms of blaming the Zimbabwe government. So let's close off with her speech, and then I'll give you an update tomorrow. There's the court case that happened today. I'm trying to find out what happened, the interdict from being recalled. Let's see what the court ruled today. And then tomorrow she's got another interdict where she wants Monzora to be stopped from getting money. And you can see the hands of CCC in all this. The hidden hand of CCC is right behind Dr. Thokozani Khupe's actions. They want to paralyze Douglas Monzora in terms of him getting money, in terms of him being recognized, and the language of him having gone to MDC Alliance Party. This is all basically the talk from the CCC guys. And I do not know what is the long-term strategy here, because Dr. Thokozani Khupe can never work in a party with CCC. They will never allow her anywhere near the leadership of that party, because they know what will happen. The moment she gets in, she's going to disrupt the party. She is very vocal, and she's very vocal in a very disruptive manner. If she was vocal in a way that is not disruptive, I would be happy with that. But even people very close to Dr. Thokozani Khupe, they have seen that she's extremely disruptive, and they want to get rid of her and to be rid of her as quickly as possible. Right, I want to look here at Kano's Chipaze, but how many MPs do they have altogether? Dark, I think about 87, if I'm not mistaken. That's the MPs that they've got. Then JG says, what is a split Gambakwe? And you say the split should have a large number of MPs. Yes, a split should have a large number of MPs. JG, let me explain to you. If you don't attend meetings and you don't come to where you're supposed to come, and you have meetings with the CCC, and then you get recalled after being suspended through a process, you are going to have a very hard time convincing courts that you're in a split. If she had been attending meetings, Yes, she was going to be okay, but she had stopped attending meetings in December. Then Lennon says, please leave CCC out of this. I can't, because CCC, the hidden hand of CCC, is clearly behind this. There is no question in my mind that Chamisa and his political party, they're behind this. And I explained to you, remember when Mashumba was making his actions, running around in town, I did explain that there's a hidden hand of Nelson Chamisa behind the actions of Mashumba. And it is coming clear now. They already started fighting Monzora. And when they realized that they can't do it directly, they then went in through the secret meetings with Dr. Thokozani Khupe, and they got people like Mashumba to become foot soldiers who are now running on the ground. And it's becoming more and more clear where they were going, because Dr. Thokozani Khupe has totally taken a different tone. It's almost as if she has never recalled anybody. If you listen to her, it's almost as if she's never recalled anybody. It's almost as if she was voted into parliament. If you listen to her, it's as if she won in 2018 and then she landed up in parliament and she's being victimized. Whereas she is sitting in parliament because of someone that was recalled. And this is ironic. Right, then JG saying, what about the hidden hand of ZANU-PF and Monzora? Monzora has got nothing to do with ZANU-PF. And you will soon realize that. And he has explained this quite a number of times. What I can say is, Zimbabwean politics is very tricky, because the opposition is their own worst enemy. Monzora cannot talk to Khupe. Monzora cannot talk to Chamisa. Chamisa cannot talk to Khupe. Chamisa cannot talk to Monzora. They will keep giving you stories of why they can't talk. And they'll always say it's ZANU-PF. In within the MDC, in all its formats. Right now, Tendai Biti is refusing to wear a yellow shirt. Check it out. Tendai Biti is refusing to wear a yellow shirt. Job Scala is refusing to wear a yellow shirt. Why? Because these guys are always fighting. Zimbabweans are going to realize after 40 years that the people that they're trying to get into office are nothing but a group of power mongers. You will never go anywhere with these guys. What the Zimbabweans need is unity, politically and also at all levels. Zimbabweans are being polarized by these politicians, especially these opposition politicians. They achieve nothing for you. I explained that people in Bulawayo are now drinking sewage water. So from a city that was functional to drinking sewage water, and all your MPs are MDC. This is what you're getting. In Harare, you've been drinking sewage for how long? I think since the past 25 to 30 years. And the MDC has been in office. These guys, they do not have any desire to change anything. Their only desire is to go and sleep at the hotel. After that, go into parliament with the parliamentary 4x4, and that's it. You will never hear anything sensible coming out of the MDC. You will never hear anything sensible coming from the opposition parties, because they do not care. They will flip-flop on their position, just like what Dr. Khupe is doing now. She's flip-flopping on a position that she took a few months ago when she was recalling people and getting into parliament. She's now saying she doesn't like the recall clause. And that's strange, because she went into parliament through a recall. Right, I want to bring this to an end. I want to answer the question from Eva. That is the last question that I'm going to answer. Ko Iwechi, why do you mock people? Ko Iwe, what have you achieved? Chigadzirisa, do you think we don't know about central government? Okay, Eva, let me explain something. Our role here as media is to give you the facts. I know when you're in bed, you're going to be thinking about it. If you're in Bulawayo today and you're drinking sewage water, you must know that it's MDC. Do not even think it's anyone else. These are the guys that are making you drink sewage water. And they're making you buy these funny stories of themselves fighting and who is better and who is not. And the day you stop buying those stories, you're going to start drinking clean water. Your children will have a job. You're going to have a new house, a new car in Zimbabwe. These things are possible. I bought my first car when I was 6 months in my job in Zimbabwe. It's possible. Zimbabwe can be functional, things can work, but the problem is not ZANU-PF. The problem right now is our opposition. They are not capable of making change happen. So right now, ZANU-PF has got the most easiest of times. They're not even sweating because they're dealing with people that are always fighting each other. That is the problem that we have in Zimbabwe. Now, let's conclude here, guys. I need to go and sleep. Let's hear what Dr. Khupe said again. We'll get out of this with that, where she explains how she's reported the executive, parliament, and so forth to the United Nations.
I am being suffocated and I can't breathe. At the same time, I've written to the United Nations Secretary General, H.E. Antonio Guterres, the United Nations Executive Director, Dr. Sima Sami Barros, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, H.E. Michelle Bachelet, the Interparliamentary Union President, Honorable Duarte Pacheco, the Pan-African Parliament, and Madam Bineta Diop, the Special Envoy of the Chairperson of the African Union Commission on Women, Peace and Security, so that they see the amount of victimization and discrimination against women by the executive and by the legislature. I am therefore calling upon the executive to stop discrimination against women. And in the same token, I am calling upon the legislature to stop discrimination against women. I am saying this with a heart which is bleeding, because I am a victim of discrimination by these pillars of the state.
Uko kuno apo